We're going to talk about air quality, home health, connected devices, maybe how they all come together in your amazing product. So will you introduce yourself and just let everybody know what the name of your product is, who you are, and we'll start there.
Sure. My name's Michael Svetina. I'm VP of Sales for a company called HealthSmart. And under this brand, or under our company name, we've launched a connected home humidifier, which works across multiple platforms. So we worked with Apple and Google, it works with Siri, Alexa, and essentially there's a proprietary app. You can control your humidifier from halfway around the country if you'd like to. There's settings on it to alert you if the water runs low. You can control your RH value. It'll tell you if the water's dirty, which is a key point, because if you have dirty water, then mold starts to develop and it just spews that out into the air. So we're actually right behind you, or in front of us. And the one thing with humidifiers, most people equate them with a disease state. So if you have a cold, you bring it out, and when you're done, it goes back into the closet. The thing about humidifiers is they have year-round benefits for hair, skin, nails, people with respiratory problems, controls dust and dander in your house. So really what we're trying to do is achieve an ideal home environment with this product.
Excellent. So you beat me to a couple of my questions, but I'm glad to hear you say that it's sort of a year-round thing, because it is absolutely something that you want to have out. I understand that lack of humidity in the air actually makes it more likely that you will catch a cold and a flu.
Yes.
And so you want it there before you get the cold or the flu, not just after. So tell me a little bit about the design process, because I know if you're putting a piece of hardware in your home and you want it to live there year-round, for me it has to be beautiful, and I see that you took some great care to design a beautiful product. So tell me about what you were thinking when you were creating the look of it.
In the development phase, we looked at premium electronic items, how they were designed, the edges, how they look, and really wanted to incorporate home decor aspects so that you would want to keep it out in your home on a year-round basis, whether it would be, and there's 4 different color combinations that we have. So, if you want a certain color for your bedroom, if you have a small child, there's one that you could have a different color for the nursery, and they can all be paired together and run off the app. The key thing was to make it so it didn't look like the old Vicks vaporizer that looked kind of like a monster, if you will.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I just, in my own personal journey with my blog and what I talked about to my audience about, I'm always looking for things that will complement the decor in my house. Those are the things that are more likely to stay out on the counter or on the floor or wherever you're putting this device. Let's go back to something that you just said, which is about pairing the devices, because I think this is really the first humidifier that I've seen where you can have multiple humidifiers and pair them.
Correct.
Because many of us do not live in a single room home. And so you have a humidifier that you feel like you need to bring from place to place if you want to enjoy the benefits all day long. So tell me about pairing humidifiers and how that feature works.
Pairing is fairly easy. You just add a device, name it a different name. Again, it works across its own custom app. That way, to your point, Carly, you don't have to move it from room to room. And another important thing is, with the app, you can control the humidity within that room. Typically, a large room is considered 600 square feet. But if you have a nursery, that might be 250 square feet. So just getting a typical humidifier that you run full blast, first of all, it's not efficient. You're probably going to get a lot of condensation because it's going to be on consistent flow. But with the Smart app, once it hits that desired humidity level, it will turn off. So say it's 45% is about ideal, but the sensors, it will turn off when it achieves that. If it goes below it, then it'll kick back on.
That's so great. So it's really monitoring the air as well as humidifying the air, so that it's smart in how it regulates the humidity in the air.
Correct.
That's great. And how much of a problem is it? Nobody likes the sound of blowing moldy water into the air, but how much of a problem is that really, and especially for people that have asthma or allergies, but just even healthy, normal people, to be using a humidifier that maybe has some stale water in it, that maybe, you sort of turn on and you left it and then you turn it on again and it's old water.
Right, and it's an issue, and really the advent of ultrasonic cool mist humidifiers was a solution to that exact problem. The warm, moist ones were essentially steam, clogged up, produced a lot of mold, and as technology advanced, the cool mist became kind of an ideal favorite, if you will. So that's how that came to light.
Interesting. So yeah, I never really thought about that. I feel like the humidifiers that I had as a kid were all warm.
Correct.
And now the market has sort of shifted to cool because for that reason.
Exactly.
Excellent.
You can still find a SKU here and there, but by far the market's probably 95%
Right.
cool mist.
Interesting. Talk to me about how you got here. Why did you develop this product? What was the inspiration?
Well, as our name signifies, Health Smart, our mantra, if you will, is to enable people to live healthier lives and make it easy. A lot of times people, if there's a lot of effort involved, they don't want to do it. So we wanted to first make it convenient, have health benefits from it, but keep it simple. Like I said in the beginning, it works across multiple platforms. Not too many people have an Alexa and a Google Home Kit. You have one or the other. So you can pair the device with something that you're already using, add it. The Echo, Amazon Echo, it's great. You could talk to it and say, Alexa, adjust humidity to 50% in nursery, and it's done. So the compatibility, I would really say simplicity and convenience make it an item that people would want to purchase.
Got it. And where do you think we are in the world of home health? I feel like even just a few years ago, people weren't talking about it. Now it's kind of exploded with water quality and air quality and all kinds of devices trying to address the issue. So where do you think we are now, and kind of what excites you about what's ahead?
Yeah, I think we're just really tapping the potential. The frontier is expansive. If you walk around this show, there's a number of products that are health related, and people are taking a bigger stance on their health and they want to improve it. Let's face it, people are living longer. So if you're living longer, why not enjoy it? So products like the Habitat, some of the other products that you see here, that's the goal. Again, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I know ourselves as a company, Habitat, we've got line extensions coming off of this product. We've got the technology down. We've got 15 unique patents. So all the research and hard work's done. So now we could parlay that into, a broad assortment of products.
Anything that's coming that you can share with us?
I'm not at liberty to really say. Next year at the show, I'm sure we'll have more. But yeah, unfortunately.
Got it. Okay, enough said. Maybe I could ask the question in a slightly different way, but are there products now on the market, or products that you're seeing in the marketplace that you feel are complementary, that sort of tell that home health story? What are some of the other things in the space that you're excited to see kind of growing up around your products to kind of, create that story?
There's a related product, you see some aromatherapy that is smart-based. You see some air purification products, water type items. So those would be similar. How smart home products developed, really it was the smart thermostat. People like that because they save money. Utility companies gave you a discount. People put a value on savings. There was a return on investment, if you will. But now it's, people are looking at their health differently and paying more attention. So I think that has a lot to do with the growth of these types of products.
Yeah, and I think people don't really realize how indoor air can oftentimes be more polluted and tougher than outdoor air.
For sure.
We get a lot of sort of chemicals that are in the furniture and the carpets and the sofas and everything that we have in our environment. People track in dirt, maybe it doesn't have a way to escape. There's no free flow of air like there is outside, and so it can become, a difficult problem inside the home, whereas people don't think of it that way. They think of smog as outside and inside is clean.
No, that's a good point. Your home environment could be as equally toxic. The obvious benefits from, say, respiratory, hair, skin, and nails, but think about it, dust and dander, if you have a pet, that's constantly circulating through the air. The cool mist molecules will attach to those and drop them down to the floor level, so you're not breathing them in. That's a key benefit that people don't realize. And with, again, the goal being, create that home environment that's healthy, clean, and, well, at least not going to make you sick.
Right. No, that's great. And it's something good to be thinking. It's a good visual, dropping it down to the floor. Talk to me about the interoperability with all the different smart home platforms. How easy is that to accomplish in today's day and age? I remember the days of really having to educate the consumer about, it's okay if you don't want to invest in all the smart home products at the same time, but you kind of need to pick out what you're looking for because you don't want to paint yourself into a corner and have a product that you have your heart set on that isn't compatible with what you bought previously. Now with Nest and Amazon and Siri, and Google Home, we have all these huge platforms that are adding hundreds and hundreds of products, but more and more products are like yours, but sort of play nicely with everybody. So is it easy? I'm sure nothing's easy, but is it easy to accomplish in today's day and age? Have all of these platforms made it easy to put the compatibility into your product?
It's certainly easier for the consumer, but this product's been in development for about 4 years. And as you can imagine, companies like Apple and Google, they don't lend their name to just any product. So they vet us all the way down to the manufacturing process. They have a say in it. If they don't like the factory or it doesn't pass their standards, it's a no-go. Mm-hmm. So, it's great to have compatibility across those platforms, but getting there, it's tough.
Right.
And it's a lengthy process. But to your point earlier, if you're going to have the ease and make it compatible across all platforms, it's certainly worth the investment to do it.
Yeah, I think it's almost becoming a prerequisite. You just don't want to give the consumer any reason to not participate. So,
for sure.
And that's actually a good segue into something I was going to ask you about, which is tomorrow I'm giving a presentation about brand loyalty, and it's called A Member of the Family, how to engender brand loyalty in connected devices. And so I've been, chatting with a lot of the manufacturers in this little space right here about how are they cutting through a cluttered market? How are you speaking to the consumer who might sort of feel like I can't handle another connected device, or I'm not sure which connected devices are going to be the most meaningful in my life? What are some of the ways that you're connecting with consumers that is working for you guys as a company?
We have a big social media push, so that's first and foremost how we're trying to reach the consumer. Habitat.tech, you can go out and learn a lot of information. It's not finalized. There's potential for an infomercial. But the product itself is really unique, so it's not a me too because there's nothing else like it in the market.
Right.
And I think that in itself generates interest and awareness for it. That obviously the health benefits are plentiful, but the uniqueness of it, because it's just not another connected light type product or another, no disrespect, but another doorbell camera. Mm-hmm. That market's getting saturated. So I say the uniqueness is really going to help to launch it and create awareness.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point because I think that there's absolutely products in the marketplace that are rushing in because they're just seeing another opportunity for a Me Too. And then there are those unique use cases where you're accomplishing something that you couldn't otherwise accomplish with a device that doesn't have the smarts built in. And those are the stories that I think are most resonant with a distracted, busy, maybe cynical marketplace that says, oh, really, we need something that plugs in to do this now? Oh, really, I need an app for my blender, and right. There's a lot of that I hear in the marketplace. So when I have a story that's unique that talks about being able to sense whether the water is dirty, being able to sense whether you're bordering on condensation and damaging your wallpaper or your environment because you don't have a smart humidifier, that's when I think the story really starts to click with people, for
right.
sure.
And there's a lot of products out there that say they're smart and they have Bluetooth capability.
Right.
That's not a smart
right.
device. It kind of reminds me of I think there's a Geico commercial where the guy just has everything in his house connected and he says, garbage can, turn on TV.
Right.
And so that borders on ridiculous.
Absurd, yeah.
Because I think there's a tendency to get overwhelmed. So yeah, it's interesting.
I'm excited for the product personally because I just think that, whether you're here in Chicago and it's super dry or whether I'm, out in Los Angeles and just trying to improve the overall air quality in my home, I think there's just, like you said, a year-round need for something like this. And as the marketplace gets more educated about home health and about air quality, the story is going to get a lot clearer for people.
So one last point I'd like to make.
Yeah.
I live in Florida, and in the summer it's humid as heck. And you would think, why would you ever need a humidifier when it's 95% humidity outside? Well, the way HVAC systems work, not only do they pump cool air into your house, but they remove humidity. So if you're constantly exposed to air conditioning, you will experience dry skin. The humidity is really low. That's how it keeps your house cool, so that your system doesn't run all the time.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just don't make the analogy of, wow, it's really humid outside, but there's two different types of humid.
Sure.
So I mean, the benefits, and for someone like myself, are also worthy.
Absolutely, yeah. Climate control is sort of the enemy. So it's like, how do you battle that and also stay comfortable? Also open your windows, but also keep them shut. It's really a whole balance, and it'll be interesting to see when your skylight talks to your climate control system, talks to your humidifier, and now you have the whole thing working in concert. I mean, I know that I've been working with a skylight company that is smart and will talk to the climate control system and will monitor the air and try to figure out what is the most energy efficient way to make the room cooler. Is it to turn on the air conditioning, or is it to crack open a skylight? And then you have fans that are talking to climate control and saying, is it more energy efficient to kick in the fan or to start the climate control? And now you have humidity, and so the whole story becomes like a really genius way to sort of optimize the overall air quality in the house and save energy.